All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a Rotary celebration, another fun afternoon we've got here. Awesome crowd. This is incredible. So I think we've got 17 guests, maybe more, but awesome. Thank you guys for being here. I'm Lauren Snyder, the president of this wonderful club here in Bloomington, and I want to thank Winston Schindel for being our greeter and our roundabout reporter, Jim Capshew, capturing the events of today's celebration. Pledge and reflection. Glenda, come up and do that for us. Glenda.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. So I hope that most of you got to see the slides that were playing before. If not, I can do it again sometime, but those are 33 past presidents from the 3 boxes of slides that Mike Baker and Sarah Laughlin found at Teacher's Warehouse after the gala and after we had hunted for all these pictures. So I said, what do we do? I said, what's in the boxes? And they said, we don't know, we didn't look. So I found among all of those, in 1963-64, apparently somebody took pictures of all of the members of the club. And for those of you who are not familiar with what Kodachrome slides are, here they are. So you take these to someone who performs magic and you get things that go on the computer now. So among those were some folks that I had not had a good picture of, so I was excited about that. But today I want to focus on just a couple other people, and we're not going to talk about those. We're going to talk about these, and I picked this one for Judy DeMuth, Hiram Johnson. Hiram Binford was the president in 1946-47. He was a teacher for many years, and then he was our school superintendent for 20 years, and of course, Binford School is named for him. So this is to connect the past to the present. And then it is my honor today to have daughters of 2 of our past presidents, and I want to feature those 2 today. The first was Tom McGlemery, and Betsy Watson is here. Betsy is Tom's daughter. Many of you know her from Lifelong Learning. And she really did a double take when she saw that picture on the left. And the second person I want to honor today is Bob Priest, who was our president in 89-90 and was director of purchasing for over 40 years. And I have 2 of his daughters with it. Well, his 2 daughters here today. Jeannie Kellums and Jan Freeman. And if they would please stand. And so I said, what kind of stories do you remember? And they all 3 talked about, at one point, of course, this is back in the days when the club was all men, they would have 1 week where they would bring their children to Rotary. And the children, and the dad would stand up and introduce his kids, and then they would have to stand up, just like they just did, and be recognized. So I thought, we now are lucky that every once in a while, one of our members will bring a child, but we don't have a special day for that. So I also wanted to talk just a minute about other past presidents. We have 28 living past presidents. Some of you remember that John Miller just died right, in fact, before the gala, but there are still 28 of us, not all who live in town. But this is the picture of those who were able to attend the past president's dinner, which we do each year in bringing in the new president. And so now I would like to ask all of you who are past presidents of this club to please stand. And I thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Glenda. For those of you who don't know, I'm expecting a child pretty much any time, so maybe we're going to have that family reconnection again. So, and if I have to leave, Mike, you're familiar enough. I'll just leave my agenda here, right? And you can take over for the rest of the meeting. But no, Rotary's definitely been part of my family, as I've told a lot of you. Both my grandfathers. My father's still a Rotarian in Franklin, Indiana. I've been a Rotarian for 10 years. So definitely part of the family. I remember going to those meetings with my dad growing up as well. So definitely a fond memory. Introduction of guests. Where's Steve? Steve, you got your laundry list there of several guests. So Steve will introduce our guests.
Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. In the interest of time, as I call the name of our guest, if you would just kind of wave, you don't need to stand up, and we're going to hold our applause and give you a great Rotary welcome after I've introduced all 17. First is Kathy Fuentes-Rohrer, the guest of Michael Shermus. Brendan Schur, the guest of Michael Shermus. Frot Pfefferman, the guest of Liz Feitel. Ken Pearson, the guest of Liz Irwin. Gina Lovell, the guest of the club. Hannah Crouch, the guest of the club. Mark DeLong, the guest of the club. Sue Cole, the guest of Ron Jensen. Jane Freeman, the guest of Glenda Murray. Phyllis Perkins, the guest of her husband, Bill Perkins. Betsy Watson, the guest of Glenda Murray. Katie Beck, the guest of the club. Dr. Jerry Kendall-Mobby, the guest of Hank Heichema. And Hank has two other guests. One is Binaki, would she wave? Yes. And also Nadja Diverman, also Hank's guest. Thank you. Christine Matthew, the guest of Marilyn Wood. And Jean Kellum, the guest of Glenda Murray. We're glad you're here today, and if any of you have an interest in Rotary or club, please say something to one of your table mates, and they'll be glad to give you more information and even a brochure. Now let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Steve. That's a wonderful problem to have to cut that one short of only giving a round of applause at the end. Thank you. Welcome you all to our celebration. That's what we call it. It's not another meeting. We're here to celebrate all the good work Rotary's doing within the community. All right, some birthdays this week. We have Phil Eskew was a couple of days ago on the 19th, so happy birthday to Phil. Hank Heichema is the 20th, so happy birthday, Hank. And then Bob Holt is the 21st today. So happy birthday to the three of you. Membership anniversary, Susie Graham, 5 years. Does that sound right, Susie? Happy anniversary. So some pre-program announcements here real quickly. Don't forget District Governor Sue Wright will be speaking to our club and updating us on what the district's doing October 2nd. We have confirmed the new IU head baseball coach, Jeff Mercer, will be speaking October 16th. Inside, that was a high school graduation classmate of mine, so it's great to have Jeff in Bloomington. 2018 Rotary Toast will be honoring Steve and Connie Ferguson. That is on November 2nd. Definitely sure to sell out, so mark your calendars and get tickets there. So November 2nd. Tonight, our first Rotary 505 social event will be at Switchyard Brewing Company on North Walnut. So tonight at 5:05 at Switchyard Brewing, we'll call those our Rotary 505s. Joy, Jean, any comments, anything else around that? Okay, come have fun. Easy enough. And don't be early. 5:04, nobody will be there. All right, we do have a board meeting on Thursday of this week here in the Frantic Manny room. And now I want to invite Hank up to introduce one of our guests, Dr. Jerry from Kinshasa, and all the projects that we've done over there. A couple minutes. Hank.
Thank you, Lauren. Welcome everybody. It is a great honor to introduce to you Dr. Jerry Kindomba from Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of the Congo. I want to spend a brief moment to put this in context. Most of you know Dr. Jerry. He is coming here every year. He is our partner in Kinshasa for our project Education Matters. And that project started, I would think, beginning of 2014, I think. That is approximately when we started working with Giving Back to Africa, a non-profit organization here in town, and then member of our club, Anne-Marie Thompson, to support a school, the Centre Salisa school and orphanage, which is later was called the Collège des Savoirs, the College of Knowledges. We have been renovating the school, we have been placing cabinets in classrooms, we have installed a rainwater collection system and fenced in a community garden, all for the students to work with and to run. And at this point, I'd like to give the microphone to Dr. Jerry Kindomba and report on the status of this project.
Thank you so much for the floor. Thank you so much for the space you give me every year to talk on behalf of the Rotary Club Gombe. I met with Rotary Club Gombe committee before my trip. Thank you so much for also allowing me to talk on behalf of Giving Back to Africa Congolese team, behalf of teachers and students from the school you have helped to support. I want also to give you greetings from my family and from me. It's very important. All our team in Congo, from Rotary Club and from the school, are grateful and thank you so much for all you have been done there at the CDS to help the school, for all your support in renovating 3 classrooms, in building helping to install a water system, in helping also to build a library cabinet for classrooms, and also for helping to build a fence for the student learning garden that is more helpful. We would like also to say that we are so grateful for your commitment to share Mama Elsa's books here in US, even in Congo. And we hope that one day students, along with Rotary Club Gombe, with Rotary Club Bloomington's support, will go buy books to fill the books cabinet at the school. So an example of our common effort, because without you, we couldn't do something, but in collaborative way, we work together, and now we are so happy. Give Back to Africa is happy to share 3 outcomes. The first is those students you are helping are learning deeply, are making difference. They are learning now in the way to link their learning, to use their learning, to link their learning to the real world. And so, as a great reward, for the first time at the high school, 11 of the students who took for the first time the national test to go to university succeeded. And those students are impacting much community members through the community service. They are using their learning in their family, in the community, and community members are just excited to accompany those students. And as a great outcome, We started with 116 students in 2012. In 2016, we had 200 students, but this year, in 2018, we enrolled 500 students from students' example. And the third is we start just with the Collège de Savoir school, but now we are partnering with 2 other schools. And many schools who are in contact with our program want us to go, to start with them. And now we have another great reward. So our educational ministry, from a teacher and students example change, our ministry is attract, and people from our education ministry started already to learn about our program, and they asked Giving Back to Africa to share this approach to the national level. This is a great outcome. And so, on behalf of the Rotary Club Gombe, the children of Congo and Giving Back to Africa, thank you so much for your support to help those students to just, they are learning to become servant leaders in their community. So you are helping them to reach this goal. And I believe servant leadership is manifesting, or I can say servant leadership is manifested also in Rotary Club, all Rotary Clubs, 4 ways tasks. So I believe in this also. And personally, I want to end my speech by thanking you so much, because this is one of my key or my favorite moments when I'm in US. Experiencing your love. Thank you for your generosity, your hospitality. May God bless you much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry. You're welcome anytime. And Hank, let's give Hank a round of applause for leading the charge on that international project. All right, now real quickly, we've got some more exciting news. Ann Connors, you want to come up real quickly? And do we want to invite Mark, Gina, and Hannah up as well? Yeah. Ann, you want to give a quick background while they're on their way up?
We're going to present a check to Amethyst House. Amethyst House, who's been doing great work in Bloomington since 1980 to help people in their journey of recovery from addiction. And so the Rotary and our Rotary Club and the district have given them a grant, and it's for $7,340. Do you want to help? This is not the check, but it looks good, doesn't it?
Awesome.
Great. And then Marcus is going to speak for a few minutes, and here's the actual check. No, that's yours.
Just a minute or so, Mark. Thank you.
I'll be quick. I just wanted to thank everyone here for this check and you guys thinking about us. Amethyst House has been in the community for about 38 years. We're a long-term substance abuse treatment program for residential and also for outpatient. And we've been dealing the last few years with an opioid epidemic I think everyone's become more and more familiar with. It's kind of scary times, and I feel like we've had our work cut out for us. I feel really blessed to be in a community like Bloomington where there's so many partnerships that we have going on and so many collaborations. Some statistics came out last week. I don't know if anyone heard those. The new stats for overdose deaths in the country hit a number of 72,000 last year. And it was up from 63,000 the year before. And to kind of put that in perspective, the entire Vietnam War, the U.S. casualties was 58,000 for a 20-year period. So it's kind of harrowing times for us and difficult times, but at the same time, I feel like we have a lot of hope. We have a lot of really dedicated people at Amethyst House working, and so many treatment providers in Bloomington that we work together with, and so we're very grateful. We're expanding. We just became a subacute residential at our women's house. We've been a halfway house for a number of years, and we're really trying to step up our efforts to have more clinical presence in our houses. We're in the process of adding 3 beds at the women's house from 11 to 14. And it's very much needed. We prioritize pregnant women and IV drug users. Having said that, I'd just like to just make a point of, we have a recovery celebration Friday night, if anyone here is interested, and we're gonna have a celebration of just people that are in recovery. This is a great recovery community here in Bloomington at St. Mark's Friday night. And we've just announced we have a concert in November for Iris DeMint is going to be playing at Buskirk Chumley. It's our 6th year in a row doing a Buskirk show, and Buskirk is a really great partner too. So I just wanted to put a plug in for that. But we're just very grateful for this check. It's really helping us out, build clinical space, add additional space for beds, and some new, much needed new furniture. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mark, Gina, and Hannah for being here. Certainly appreciate the work you're doing. And we do have a volunteer opportunity as part of the district grant September 15th, and we'll be highlighting some additional information on that when it gets closer to date. Tons of good work going on, obviously, internationally across the world, as well as right here in our own backyard. And that's all part of this Rotary organization doing greater good. I want to invite Mike Baker up now for a special presentation. Mike. Lots of good stuff to talk about. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't want to cut into our speaker's time, but today, the presentation of the Paul Harris Fellow, Judy, please come up, from one doctor to another. The presentation of the Paul Harris Fellow recognition is the Rotary Foundation's way of expressing its appreciation for substantial contribution of both financial and community service activities and to its humanitarian and educational programs. It is named for our founder, Paul Harris, who started Rotary with 3 business friends in 1905. Today, we have the honor and pleasure of recognizing Dr. Judy DeMuth of our club, who has contributed to the Rotary Foundation, served our club and our community, and exemplifies the values of Rotary. A world of peace and goodwill will come closer to reality today as Judy becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. It is because of gifts and community service like the ones from Judy that the Rotary Foundation is able to continue its work. The contribution to the Rotary Foundation and service in our community and club are investments in the ideal of goodwill, peace, and understanding, which is an ideal held by Rotarians all over the world. It gives me great pleasure, Judy, to present you with the pen and certificate given a Paul Harris Fellow. Please accept, I'll let you do this part. Please accept our congratulations and sincere thanks for your commitment to our common goals of world understanding and peace. And please join me in recognizing our new Paul Harris Fellow.
Judy, I'll have you back up here in just a moment, but my favorite part of the meeting and the quickest happy dollars we're ever going to do, because I want to share happiness. Susie, happy dollars real quickly. Anybody got any exciting news? Owen Johnson. Liz.
I'm very happy because last Wednesday I came back from 6 days in the hospital. Things went very well there, and I'm on the road to recovery.
Wonderful. Liz, back. Okay. Gene Emery, yeah.
Hey, I just want to let you know, when you come tonight, 'cause I know you're all coming, German American, we have a parking garage that's just about a block west of the brewery, and you're welcome to park at 5:05 in our parking garage if you can't be.
Okay. Linda.
And on each of your tables is an announcement about an event that will honor and highlight Fairview School on Sunday. Richard Lewis, who is a neighbor of ours and a retired opera singer, presents his 8th concert. It's at 2 o'clock at Fairview United Methodist Church on Sunday, and they sing both opera and popular music. They're doing some things from Stephen Sondheim Into the Woods this year, so please come.
Jim.
I'm happy to see Jane Breeze, who we met 50 years ago at Fairfield Junior High School.
Anyone else? All right, with no further ado, Ron Jensen, want to introduce our speaker. I won't cut into any more of your time, Judy. Ron.
One makes plans and plans and plans, but other good things happen in the meantime, and here we are. I just want to say that Judy DeMuth has been served as superintendent of the MCCSC since July 2011, after 6 years in LaPorte and 2 in Richland Bean Blossom. She has 1 degree each from Purdue and Ball State, 2 from IU, including her Doctor of Educational Leadership. She has won a variety of awards from various organizations, and she will soon be recognized as the IU School of Education 2018 Distinguished Alumni Award. Please give a Rotary welcome to one of our own.
Well, thank you, everyone, and it's great to see all of you. Today, I want to talk about a few programs that I call kind of diamonds in the rough, things that you don't see on the front page all the time, but they are truly assets to our community and to the children we serve. But first, I want to thank Rotary because I think you all remember a year or 2 ago now, you put a shade structure at Fairview Elementary, and you don't know how great that is to not worry about our kids being out there where it's sunny and that sun's beating on them. And so you'll see more of those in the corporation because that's been extremely helpful to us. So thank you for that. And then the next one we're going to do is really thank you for the Teacher's Warehouse. And that is a diamond. You know, it's hard for me to even say this, but I can remember like yesterday being superintendent at Richland Bean Blossom, and Carol Maloney called me and said, hey, we got this thing we're going to do, this Teacher's Warehouse. We're going to get all these people to donate stuff, and we're going to have it in a warehouse, and your teachers can come and get it. Do you want to do that? And I said, oh my gosh, do we want to do that? Yes, that's great. And then in 2004, the Rotary took it over because, as you can well imagine, to have the people to work that kind of opportunity for people and get all those resources in has been really it's an awesome and it's very large project. So we want to thank the Rotary. We've got a few pictures here. Brittany Hall saying, you know, teachers spend $500 plus a year, and they can go to Teacher's Warehouse and get things free, and they can get class sets. Our teachers are always amazed when they walk in. It's just not 1 or 2 things, but they can get things for their whole class. So we really want to thank the Rotary. Some pictures again for the space that we've got. It's a wonderful partnership, and I just want to personally thank you. Sue Cole's here. I know she in 2004 was brave enough to step forward, or maybe they just dumped it on you, I'm not sure. But she took over and led that charge for Rotary to take over, and I can't thank you enough because our teachers rely on this, and thanks to all of you Rotarians who serve and help us on that. And so moving forward, we want to talk a little bit about Hoosier Hills Career Center. Some of you know about it, some of you don't, but it's certainly in line with a lot of things you hear out of the governor's office where we talk about college careers and beyond, or college careers in life. And so you hear a lot about kids today making sure that they have some foundational element of a career path. And so we kind of align it to Hoosier Hills. So what we did about 3 or 4 years ago was we had a director who had an assistant director, Christy McBride, and I said, you know, I can see career paths coming down the road. Can you go ahead and put those structures in place at the Career Center so we can clearly see what foundational elements are key in some of those programs that you offer, and then we're going to use that template and move it into our schools as we see that moving forward in the state. So at the Career Center, you know that they offer many, many programs, and many of your children and grandchildren have participated. We've really strengthened that program through many grants, and I'm going to mention a couple of them for you today. But here's just a student. You can see she got a scholarship to Princeton. She's a pre-med major, and she went through our Project Lead the Way program there in biomedical sciences. Here's Kalen, who again went through. He's an intern at TASIS, and he is working at he was at Ivy Tech taking classes, and he got an unbelievable job at Toyota. You can see some of the career clusters that we have, anything from hospitality, cooking, to all the way to, like I said, biomedical sciences. Here they are: agriculture, architecture and design, education and training, early childhood education, information technology. Our kids are amazing there, the opportunities they get to go explore, and they really walk out with an ASE certification that gives them jobs. Health sciences, hospitality and human services, and our fire and rescue program is unbelievable. Those kids go through a program and they are ready to take their test. Once they reach the age of 18, they can take their test and actually be a firefighter. So we're very proud of those. Advanced manufacturing, there's all kinds of advanced manufacturing in this community, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then transportation, more as we think about automation and automotive sciences. They have dual credit opportunities at Ivy Tech Bloomington. They can get 45 credits. At Ivy Tech Terre Haute, 39, and in Vincennes, 42, which means they don't pay anything for those credits. So they go into a program at those universities and they have those credits, which are transferable. We have many certifications. You may hear your children, your grandchildren talking about, I've got to have a certification. Many of our children, our students, have those certifications, and then they can go right into the world of work. Employability skills, you hear it all the time, no matter where you go. Employers talk with me about employability skills, and the program builds those into the curriculum that they're following, which is critical for all of the partners that we work with. And you can see we have a great many partnerships in the community. Again, I heard earlier where the community provides partnerships all over the world, and I can't tell you the partnerships that our kids have with companies and organizations is truly incredible. We have an E3 Innovation Network grant. You may have heard that in the state of Indiana, over $580,000 that we were allocated for the success of our students and the programs that we built. And with matching funds, that's over $1.2 million. And we really focus on the two areas in this community that we see employers needing help in, and that's advanced manufacturing and health science. In advanced manufacturing, you can see the kinds of things that we do. We train recent graduates for the current workforce, and then we train our adult learners who are incarcerated, which has been a great program for us because a lot of those people, if they do get out of jail, are well on their way to getting some type of employment. In the health sciences area, we have the emergency medical services, CNA, dementia-friendly caregiver, where we're the only ones in the nation that offered that this summer. And as you can well imagine, there are many opportunities for dementia caregivers, and so we're very fortunate to have had that program. We also recently got a grant from the Regional Opportunities Initiative, and this is the grant now that takes, remember I said, I went to Chris McBride and said, put a template together that we can follow as we move it into the schools. This is the grant that's going to help us do that, because today our students need to have a career path when they graduate from school. And so what that means is they've had the opportunity for a strong foundation in something, and the good thing is if they don't like it, they can switch back and forth into other career paths, but at least they know that either they might want to pursue something, or quite frankly, a lot of them know that they don't want to pursue something, which is also a good thing. We have a design framework, and it's really pre-K through 12, and we are in a planning grant mode where we are actually planning those programs for our students. And once we do the planning grant that we were allocated, there is a potential for additional funds as we move forward. Okay. Every student is engaged in a relevant path to success. We have a lot of collaboration between schools and businesses, and there's a reason why, our kids feel a reason why as to they're taking that coursework. They understand the purpose, and that's incredibly important. Our kids are smarter than ever before. I say that. I stand in awe of them. And they want to know why they're doing this, or how is it relevant, or where is the relevancy. And so this program will help them see that. Now, moving to another area, and that's early learning. Last year, as you know, a couple of our preschools closed in the community because of financial problems. We took a look around because we got a number of calls and people said, can't you do anything for us? At Hoosier Hills, we had a daycare program, but we needed some expansion. So with the efforts of our Board of School Trustees, we went ahead and redesigned a warehouse we had, and I'm gonna have Mr. Clampett kind of, that was our opening, our grand opening. We take babies 6 weeks through preschool. And so, Andrew, you wanna play that?
Let me share some pretty cool details about the Monroe County Community School Corporation's new Early Learning Center. It provides a dynamic and nurturing environment for us kids, ages 6 weeks through 4 years old, that encourages creativity, self-discovery, and independence. The center follows the MCCSD calendar, and it is enrolling now. Do you need financial assistance? We can help there too. Call 812-330-7830 or visit www.mccsc.edu/ELC for questions or to enroll today. See you soon.
So we know that if we have a strong preschool, as we work with students all the way through, and a early learning foundation, we know that our job gets a lot easier and their successes become very many. So we're very fortunate to have that early learning center. And I was asked to talk just a little bit about some construction that we've been doing, so we're gonna go through those pretty quickly. At Templeton, we've installed solar panels on Templeton School. It's a zero net metering situation where we will get credits for that solar, and so basically we hope that the cost of our electricity is zero on that building. So we're very fortunate to have done that. At Highland Park, if you've been there, we've increased parking space tremendously for grandparents who attend those presentations at Highland Park. I think it's going to be a lot better for you. At Lakeview, we did the same thing because we had a lot of people parking all over, and we've increased parking tremendously for our folks there. At Bachelor Middle School, you may have noticed a major thoroughfare coming out of Bachelor so we can separate buses and cars, another safety piece that we wanted to put in place. We're reimagining Tri-North Middle School, and for some of you who don't know, we're looking forward to putting our shovels in the ground and starting a new Tri-North Middle School soon. And so we're in the process of reimagining that middle school in terms of what it can mean for the future of our students. Bloomington North, a lot of you have children who swim. We're very excited that we'll be remodeling that pool very soon. That has been kind of a project that's been there a long time, and we've got to do that because we can't put Band-Aids on it anymore. At South, our girls never had a softball field, so we're very fortunate to be able to put a softball field in place for them. And I always want to bring up that this is with a tax rate that continues to stay steady or decrease slightly. That's critically important for us as taxpayers. We've taken that very seriously, and we're very fortunate that we had some bonds that came due, so we were able to do a lot of work for our children and for the community as that happened, and again, keeping that total tax rate the same. We are extremely proud to be Monroe County Community School Corporation. I've tried again to highlight a few of the diamonds that we have that you may have not heard about, but I'm very willing to take any questions that you may have about the Monroe County Community School Corporation.
Somebody last night who expressed concern about how the
So the question was possibly a perception that our school year is getting longer. So you know, in Indiana, our students have to go to school 180 days. And so that 180 days, if you look all over the state of Indiana, it's split up in different ways. And about 3 or 4 years ago now, we had a broad-based committee that looked at the day and the school year. And we accepted the recommendations of that committee. And so we still follow what's called a traditional calendar. We try to honor IU's spring break, Christmas break, Thanksgiving. So we are very traditional in the path. So we've not extended days, and we've not done, all year schooling. But when summer hits, there's a lot of opportunities. We've offered summer school all summer long. We have what's called Adventure Camp, so kids can participate in that. And then both at our middle school and our high school, we've offered summer programming. So I think the combination of that and a traditional model works pretty well for parents. There's a lot of opportunities in Bloomington. But the school year, again, has not increased. But sometimes people don't understand that if a college goes to school less than 180 days, we can't fit their calendar because we have a few more days. So that's kind of where we're at on the school calendar. Thank you. Yes, Judy?
I think I heard you say that in your pre-learning program, your early learning program, that you follow the calendar year for those children. What happens in the summertime with those same children, because they're going to need care then too?
Right. A great question. The question was, in the Early Learning Center, you follow a school calendar. What are they going to do during the summer? And quite honestly, this was our first, we just had our grand opening this summer, and I always say we have to walk before we run. So again, because of the financial concerns that a lot of them have closed for, we have to make sure that financially we're going to be able to make it and be able to sustain. So I would say the long-term projection is we'd like to be open year-round, but right now we're trying to see if we can manage it financially through the course of a school year and see what the demand is for the summer. We have a lot of teaching staff that have their children there, and obviously they're on a school calendar, so that works out well for them. But we are certainly cognizant of those others. And again, as we progress and get really good at the financial piece of that, I can foresee where we would be open year-round. Yes?
How many kids do you, what's your capacity of that?
90 children, and depending on if we have, like I went into a classroom the other day and we had 7 babies, and there were 4 adults with 7 babies. So it takes a lot more person power when you have the little ones. Well, yes, Judy.
I'm sorry, this may be a rather sensitive one, but how's the charter school situation impacting you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the question was, how are the charter schools impacting you? And so the bottom line is, when there's a charter school, people can opt to take their child to that school, and the money that we would get as a public school actually goes to that charter school. And we do have some dynamic dynamic schools in the community who are using public funds, and I would say a couple of them have been around for a long time, and 1 or 2 of them are pretty new to the community. But it does impact our funds. It does, if you have a pie or you have your income in your home, the more pieces that we dole out to others depreciates the money that is available for public schools. So it does impact us, and we, our goal is to be the very best we can be, so we are the option that parents want to choose.
How about the student population in general? If people are having fewer children or more people are moving in and they bring children with them, what do you see as the projection for school populations?
Well, we've been very fortunate here. The question was, what do you see in terms of population of the schools? We've been pretty stable the last number of years. Last year was the first year we saw a little bit of a dip, and our enrollment will be taken mid-September. So we're hoping that was an anomaly and that we continue that, sustaining it at a level field. But we dropped a little bit last year. We had a charter school that opened in the next community over, and we know that we lost some of our children to that school. And in Indiana, public schools are funded one day. It's usually mid-September. When we turn in that enrollment, that's the money that we get. If children come after that date, we don't get credit for them. So what we do find happening is that children select other schools or families select other schools, and then during the course of the year, we get them back. But unfortunately, our funding's not affected. We don't get funding for those children. Yes?
Yeah, can you tell me, I know this is probably could be a topic of its own, but how are things going in special ed? Are you seeing a lot more inclusion, or are you tending to have more of the, separate classrooms, self-contained classrooms, or sort of what's your philosophy there?
Well, our philosophy is, I always harken back to being a high school principal. When you're a high school principal, you get to see the good, bad, and the ugly, right? And so I'll never forget this young man that I had, and he was a frequent visitor to my office, to say the least. And his name was Aaron. And I'll never forget, and I said, Aaron, if we could have done one thing for you as your educational journey, what would it have been? And he said, not to label me. And he was a special ed student. And so I always take that to heart. So I want to make sure our kids are getting the services they need in a place that's with other students. And it's called least restrictive environment. So I'm a big believer in making sure kids are with other kids as best that we can keep them with other kids, and having those social experiences that all children have. So we call that inclusion. They're included into the regular classroom, but we know that we do have some children who have special needs that have to be tended to in a separate area. We try to do that, but we always try to include them in as many things as possible. So that's the philosophy we use. It's been a pleasure. I will be here for a few minutes, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate. And thanks to the Rotary. You don't know what support you are for our parents, our children, and our teachers. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Judy, and Andrew, thank you for being here. As is our new custom, is we're going to be making a contribution to a charitable organization in the community on your behalf. This quarter's charitable contribution is going to the Area 10 Agency on Aging. So thank you, Judy and Andrew, for being here. Appreciate you being here. Next week's program, we have David Johnson, the IU Vice Provost for Enrollment. We have the greeter will be Miss Marilyn Wood, Pledge and Reflection, Leslie Green. Introduction of guests, David Meyer, and the roundabout reporter will be John Diltz. Don't forget, our first 505 will be at Switchyard Brewing. Hope to see many of you there. Guests, you're also welcome to join us. My thought for the week, I thought this one made me laugh. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. All right, guys, have a great week. Appreciate you being here. Oh, shoot. Four-way test. I got ahead of myself. Rotary four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? All right, there we go.